And here we go, a little JV League of Legends. I'm pretty sure it's JV. Let me double check that actually. Little University League of Legends here. UNH going to be going against Manchester University. Excited to see how they're going to go throughout this ban phase here. You see the Yone lock in pretty early. The Nautilus and Chundo going to be the bans for UNH. Kindred Jana going to be off the board from Manchester. They're going to take out Milio as well. Pretty good support ban there. Ash going to be the next ban. Pretty annoying AE carry, especially with the slows. Can definitely see why that was banned. Plus the vision you can get from Ash's Bird is kind of insane, at least to me. Gonna see Manchester's gonna lock in that Urgot. UNH gonna stick with that Yone lock. You see them, I think their support is gonna be hovering at Zyra really good, especially with those roots as well as her ultimate. Amumu gonna be the Manchester University support going off the bans here. Urgot might be their jungler. Actually, I can't even go off the bans yet. I'm talking nonsense. Kled gonna be the ban for UNH. Probably see a Mumu jungle actually. You can see Fiddlesticks going to be banned for Manchester University. Final ban for UNH going to be Viego, a very good jungler, especially with his resets on those souls. Fiora, the final ban for Manchester University. No parrying today. A lot of dashes in the top laner, so especially annoying to some players. Could actually be Zyra mid lane. You're gonna see maybe Senna support instead. I noticed the Zyra rocking TP. Ezreal gonna be the choice of AD carry for UNH. You're gonna see Manchester University locking in that Misfortune Rel combo, a very aggressive and bully kind of lane. However, with Ezreal Senna, their range could definitely give them the advantage here, especially with how much they can poke. Believe you're going to see Yone Urgot top lane, so you're going to see a lot of dashes coming out of that top lane. Jungle's just going to be a battle of tanks, Amumu, Sejuani lining up. Zyra Malzahar would just be interesting to see. Zyra will be able to get rid of that spell shield pretty easily with her plants, especially with the ranged plants. Malzahar just kind of has to hope to farm until 6 and then use his ultimate to try to maybe get some kills with Amumu, assuming Zyra plays this well. I'm sure they will. About 50 seconds here until we get underway. UNH probably checking the runes for the last few seconds as time ticks down. Both AD carries running PTA here, so you might see some extended trades, especially in the early game, to try to proc that extra bonus damage.
Hey, we can do this. Well, I can do this. You 50-50.
I'm sorry, did I just see... Oh, I guess not. Thought I just saw Zyra buy support item, and I was a little confused for a second.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
A beaten path is a boring path.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Not gonna see any invades from either side here. As we start getting underway, minions going to spawn soon, as well as those jungle objectives. The usual for early game league. Gonna see both sides probably trying to focus more on farm than fights, especially this Ezreal Senna duo in the bot lane. Ezreal really good at that poke in the early game, but it's a bit difficult for him to get started until he has ability haste. Senna, however, really good in that late game, especially if she can get a lot of stacks with the souls. Do see UNH being a little careful, dropping a ward to watch for that topside invasion. Both Zyra and Yone around the area to watch for it. Minions have spawned. You see a little bit of a skirmish mid lane, maybe not a lot of damage being done from either side. Good poke from the Ezreal to find out that there's going to be at least one in that bush, most likely the Rel. Definitely want to play in the minions here, try to avoid the stuns as best possible. It's going to be a second poke landed. Whoever's in that bush is more than happy to let Ezreal just get free pokes here.
I rarely know what
Bit of a risky walk up by the Ezreal here. Gonna have to, the exhaust gonna come out early. That Rel trying to do some good damage. Barrier gonna get procced as well. Ezreal gonna have to waste a potion early here. Won't miss out on too much farm. As long as they stay even in XP, this should be a good matchup for the Ezreal and Senna. They should try to play their range best they can. Try to bait out those misfortune Qs, make her miss them a few times. They definitely have to play back a bit here. You see the top lane, a bit of a skirmish going on. A lot of health being lost for that Yone. Could be a big fight. Yone trying to lane dominate a little bit. Ezreal just trying to catch up on XP at this point. Him and Senna both level down technically. Trying to get that farm in, only able to find that last caster minion. We'll see a gold disadvantage in this bot lane pretty early. Really good poke from Ezreal. They're going to take the misfortune Q for his trouble. You see Urgot flashing that top lane already. Definitely could be a bullying situation from that Yone. Could see a hyper carry out of that Yone in the top lane, especially if he gets going early.
First blood.
Urgot actually going to find that first blood. The Yone unable to get him even with the flash advantage. Or what I assume is flash advantage, as the Rel herself uses flash. I believe they know that Ezreal, not rocking that teleport, has to burn his flash to get out. However, Misfortune also about half HP here. Surprisingly pretty even around on health here for both sides. That's Senna about full HP, and she can do some pretty big damage for her support. Ezreal gonna get that TP finally, a really good escape option for him if that Rel decides to try another play. You see a bit of a chaotic toss there, trying to get some early damage. Yone gonna be back in that top lane, looking for his revenge against that Urgot. Trying to get that poke with the WQ combo, unable to get it. Just trying to keep the farm about even here. Gonna burn TP to get out of the misfortune slow. You're gonna see a good route from Senna onto the Rel here. You're gonna see her diving into towers. Moo also shows up. I didn't even notice him coming out. Senna unable to get the trade back. As Misfortune actually walks away with that kill, that's gonna be big for that Manchester bot lane, especially if their 80 carries able to get away with that kill. That gold advantage only gonna be pushed further. You're gonna have Ezreal seeing a bit of a struggle here to come back into lane and try to keep this match even. Mid lane for the most part, hasn't seen too much coming from that. Top lane, Yone did die early on in the game. However, since then, there has been no kills in that top lane. Kind of tame overall as we hit about 5 minutes on the clock here.
Their word, not mine. But it
Yone only being level 4 does make me ask some questions. Maybe having a bit of a struggle to get all the XP in lane there. Good farming from the Senna to keep this Ezreal pretty even with the XP. As you can see, first Drake coming up in 10 seconds. Could definitely see UNH try to get some lane superiority in the mid and bot lanes here to try to take that Drake, or at least have enough vision on it to prevent Manchester from trying to take it. Good combo from Ezreal there, landing all of his abilities on that MF to get some damage. Senna trying to get some farm for herself as well, trying to get some stacks off that Misfortune, especially with that extra range she has. Good to see that Zyra TP into the mid lane. They do notice that Rel is in the middle of river there. Have to be a bit careful, especially if Mumu roams back down towards bot lane. No wards for the Ezreal, so especially has to be careful here. They do have Sejuani lurking around the bot lane towards them, so if a big fight does break out, they will have backup. They do know that Zyra just burned her teleport to get back into lane. Mid laner won't be able to help them out during a fight. Zyra is the first for UNH to hit level 6, so you could see a Zyra ulti if there is a big team fight for this first Drake. Do you see Sejuani dropping some wards on it, spotting the one ward in the Dragon Pit. Looks like they might have brought Rel over just to bait her out. The ping to alert the enemy team that the Rel isn't in lane. They do spot her and a Mumu in that Dragon Pit. Sejuani, meanwhile, looks like she's in the middle of doing her Raptors. Could definitely see her try to rotate down for a steal maybe. They don't have any vision on that Dragon Pit. Could definitely see Manchester University trying to take it without being noticed. Rel is back in lane, so maybe they're not trying to take it. Kind of unsure at this point. Ezreal continuing to get poked down a lot by that Misfortune Q. Very hard to avoid. Actually going to see Amumu and Rel now in that bot lane jungle. Sejuani making an appearance. Going to be proccing that PTA for Ezreal. Doing some pretty good damage here. Amumu going to be burning his flash to stay alive. Ezreal maybe wanting to try to chase and push the advantage they have here, but they do spot Malzahar is down here now as well. Zyra gonna be joining the fray as well. Could have a big 4v4 fight for this first Drake. Ezreal gonna land the W on him to find the Q though. Does have that teleport up is in 2 seconds. Now has it up as well. Zyra ulti gonna come out trying to find at least one. You see the flash for Miss Fortune, but she's gonna get caught by the double root both from the Zyra. Kill for Ezreal onto the Amumu. The Rel now trying to get some stuns off. Does manage to stun both Zyra and Ezreal, allowing her and Miss Fortune to escape. UNH does get a kill of their own on the board finally as we approach 7 minutes 15 seconds. Sejuani gonna get started on that Chemtech Drake. Ezreal trying to get a little bit more farm in here before he goes for his recall.
I won't say anything.
Definitely trying to get that Triforce up early, as well as those magical footwear. Could provide a big advantage against, especially against a Miss Fortune. Her W providing her a lot of that movement speed, especially in the early game. Can be detrimental to somebody like Ezreal, whose entire kit usually runs off them getting a magical footwear. UNH going to claim that first Drake, Chemtech Drake going their way, giving them the first of the strategic objectives. You're going to see Void Grubs coming up here in about 10 seconds.
This reminds me of discovering
Manchester still holding on to that kill lead, 2-1 over UNH. However, Ezreal, a lot of gold in his pocket now from that kill along with the farm. Could definitely see him try to recall for the Hearthbound Axe. Good AD and attack speed on that component.
true explorers follow the compass
Also,
in their
no real way for this Ezreal to escape this fight outside of his teleport here, so he has to be kind of careful. Does a flash and barrier up as well, but he definitely doesn't want to burn those just because he sat in lane for a little too long. Trying to keep his farm consistent with the MF here. You do see she hit 6 as well
Exploration runs in my
early.
family. It's in my blood.
Miss Fortune can do quite a lot of damage, especially to a squishy like Ezreal. Meanwhile, still quiet in the rest of the lanes. No more solo kills on the board. Void Grubs, however, are going to go to that Mumu rather quickly. Ezreal trying to line up some of those pokes with his EQ there. Q from the Miss Fortune going to find him for some pretty good damage. Senna trying to get her stacks in as a Zyra falls to that Amumu gank in the mid lane. Malzahar get credited with the kill there, pushing Manchester University the first of 3 kills, giving them feats of warfare and pushing them 1 step closer to getting the tier 3 boots. You see Senna now has ultimate up. That global ultimate could be big for UNH, especially in fights where you want to try to save your teammate. Ezreal going to burn the Q to avoid the poke damage from Miss Fortune. Going to land a bit of poke of his own, nearly proccing his PTA. We're going to see that Yone teleport back in the top lane. Back after getting some farm, presumably.
I'm in my element, but
Ezreal landing that W, unable to find the Q to proc it. Staying in the lane, gonna get about 2,000 gold to his name here. Could definitely go back for a pretty big power spike on this Miss Fortune. Still doing pretty good damage with his abilities, but you see how much damage that single Miss Fortune Q can do, especially with her passive.
Pride's first contact with me.
Miss Fortune and Rel being pretty much lane bullies here against this Ezreal and Senna. They're taking their time to farm up. They will probably scale better in the later game. I'm not really sure how well Miss Fortune scales compared to Ezreal, but I know Senna is very good at scaling in the late game. You just see Amumu making his way down into the river, sussing out the ward with the Oracle Lens. Might see him do it a second time as Ezreal throws down the ward and teleports away.
That rocks.
See Yone in the top lane once again, just keeping that Urgot under tower. I feel like I've not seen Urgot walk out from under tower since this game has started. Good poke from Ezreal, keeping the health about even on both sides here. Another good round of poke. Rel gonna pop ultimate and flash to try to get the good ulti from Ezreal. However, that Miss Fortune ult that came in did some huge damage to both him and the Senna, leading to the death of Senna. Ezreal with very little HP taking off. Both Miss Fortune and Rel were low, but he did burn his ultimate to try to kill that Rel early, was unable to do so. Manchester University going to push their advantage up to 4 kills now. UNH still with only that 1 kill on the Amumu in the early game.
Build in my uncle's museum.
Gonna see Miss Fortune walking away with a play and a kill there, pretty big for her. Ezreal will get his magical footwear by the time he returns. Could definitely try to see Senna make a play for the kill here. Does have ultimate up, but she's just not gonna be there in time. The minions creep blocking her pretty hard, it looks like.
I go out there and see it
Not
for
sure if
myself.
Miss Fortune has a shutdown, but if she did, it definitely would have been worth it. But no, I don't see a shutdown, so definitely was a good play by that Senna to hold on to ultimate instead. No need to get rid of both your global ultimates, especially one as powerful as Senna's, can do damage from far away as well as really good shielding to her teammates.
Jero Lightfeather never gives up. He learned that from me.
Do see the Malzahar Zyra in that mid lane. No real action from those two past that kill that Malzahar got with the Amumu. Do see Zyra's ultimate comes out here. She takes a lot of damage, but she will actually secure the kill on the Malzahar. Solo kill for the Zyra. She does have 2 plates, it looks like, on her tower. See that Rel in the middle of the river as Senna and Misfortune push, or as Senna and Ezreal push the Misfortune back under tower. They do spot the ward dropped in the bush. Their control ward barely surviving on 1 HP. Ezreal going to come in to try to claim the gold here real quick. Misfortune, meanwhile, focusing in on the wave. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Yone and Urgot continuing to go back and forth, yet no kills on the board yet. Do spot that ward in the middle brush there. Trying to freeze this wave here for Ezreal to farm a bit better, a bit easier. They do, however, spot Misfortune running up towards the top, or the middle here, as the Amumu finds a kill onto the Sejuani, her Malzahar, and it looked like Rel might have been up there, locking that Sejuani down, not allowing her to escape alive. A little too late for Senna to notice with her ultimate. Probably wouldn't have been able to save the Sejuani anyway. She looked like she was in a pretty bad situation. However, UNH does lose their jungler, and they will see as Manchester starts to work on this Infernal Drake. They will claim it. No ultimate from Ezreal, able to try to steal it that time. They did see it come out earlier to try to save that Sejuani, was unable to do so. They do spot a pretty sizable portion of this Manchester U team walking down towards their bot lane. You spot Misfortune and Rel both in that middle bush along with the Amumu. You're going to see Ezreal and Senna both going to back away from the area.
This reminds me of discovering the spirit tomb of Ekron.
Turret plating will fall soon.
Approaching 15 minutes here, Manchester U still holding the advantage with the 5 kills over UNH's 2. Laning phase starting to tick down. You see that Rel using a lot of her ability, but the Misfortune just kind of ults in the wrong direction there. It looks like unable to really profit off these stuns that Rel got for her. Ezreal and Senna able to walk away with very little damage taken. You know now that the Misfortune has burned ult, so a lot of her lethality has been taken out. However, not all of it. You just have to be a little bit careful with overextending. Could definitely see Ezreal just trying to get to Triforce before he recalls here. Definitely within that realm of possibility. Just be careful they don't overstay here. They do know that Malzahar and Urgot are both in their respective lanes. They think that Misfortune and Rel have backed. It looks like they have. You see them quickly trying to get through this minion wave, trying to shove it in as fast as humanly possible, trying to get that Ezreal the gold for Triforce. Definitely a pretty big power spike item for Ezreal. Senna trying to keep the pressure up, trying to keep Misfortune off the minions, allowing them to shove the under tower, trying to make her lose out on a wave at least. They do note that Rel is alive. They've been spotted in that bot lane. Could definitely see her roaming around the map, trying to find a stun or an easy kill, especially on that Yone. As Rift Herald does come up, they do spot some wards being placed in the general area. You can see Sejuani's starting to make her way up there as well. Yone going to be teleporting right into the middle of the Urgot, scaring him away from Rift Herald as Sejuani works on her camps for the moment.
I can't get hauled into Wizard again. Technically, I don't have a permit for the gauntlet.
Senna and Ezreal both going to be returning to the bot lane. No roams for the support quite yet. See Ezreal getting a bit aggressive here, using his teleport proactively, trying to get a proc with that W. Ezreal landing a pretty good combo there on the MF, trying to take her health down a little bit. You see a gank in that mid lane, Sejuani trying to come down to help as Zyra, very low HP, falls to the Malzahar, credited with the solo kill as the Amumu did come down to gank. Doesn't look like he was able to assist in any way. Sejuani now forced to back away from Rift Herald as Amumu starts rotating up to her. You do see Yone kind of peeking down at the top lane, ready to rotate if necessary for a team fight.
Sounds dangerous. I'm in.
Meanwhile, Yone now gonna be the target of a gank as Amumu shows his face. Sejuani trying to make it over on the rotate as Yone tries to stay alive with this Urgot and Amumu both approaching quickly, taking some pretty good damage. Sejuani's gonna get up in that fight now. Is in the bot lane. Ezreal doing some pretty good damage to the MF to force her away from tower. Trying to do some damage to the Rel as well. As you see Zyra teleporting into the mid lane. Amumu gonna fall to Sejuani. Urgot gonna get credited for the kill on Yone, leaving Sejuani and Urgot in a 1v1 for the top lane currently. Sejuani definitely wants to win this to be able to take Rift Herald with minimal issue.
Will not miss.
Sejuani knows if Urgot said it'd be very easy to take Rift Herald, especially with Zyra's help. Does look like Sejuani would just recall instead. Yone even trying to convince her to help out with the turret as Ezreal finds the kill on the Misfortune. A really good play there, using the W early, teleporting into it, landing the Q, and proccing the ult right afterwards. A really good burst down from Ezreal to find a kill onto the Misfortune. UNH making their comeback now as they push the kill lead back, only 7-4.
When you've got talent, shot.
You see Ezreal doing some pretty good poke damage to that Relish, tries to stop them from damaging turret too much. Both Ezreal and Senna doing some good damage. They back though just as this Ocean Drake comes on live. Looks like they want to back and maybe buy boost before they come over to help Sejuani take the Drake. Could see another big team fight for this Drake if Manchester decides it's worth fighting for. Definitely looks like UNH's side of the Drake is worth fighting for as they begin to crowd up around the Drake and spot Amumu and Malzahar both rotating down to help fight out the Drake, both looking for some way to stop UNH from taking this Drake. Rift Herald, meanwhile, is still on the board. Either team could decide to give Drake just to get Rift Herald.
Possible comebacks are sort of my specialty.
Big fight in the bot lane here as Ezreal gonna pop his ultimate after Sejuani and Zyra both use their ultimates. Sejuani finds a kill in the Misfortune. Ezreal gonna get the kill onto the Rel, putting him on a killing spree, knocking out that bot lane completely, doing enough damage to Amumu to make him run away. UNH gonna quickly take this Ocean Drake as Yone finds the solo kill in the top lane. That's what UNH likes to see now. 7 kills to 7 kills. They're gonna walk away with the Drake as well, and you can definitely see Sejuani rotating up towards to get that Herald as well. Just to lock in that strategic objective seat. You see Malzahar has returned to the mid lane. Zyra and Sejuani both walking up towards it. Ezreal gonna show up as well, gonna land his WQ, but that spell shield will save. Spell shield will save Malzahar from too much damage as the spot lane starts to rotate up. Oh, but the Yone gonna find the first tower, gonna destroy that for UNH, giving them a chance now. If they take this Rift Herald, they could take tier 3 boots for themselves. You do see Senna Sejuani chasing Amumu pretty far into his jungle. Zyra making the rotate up from mid lane and help out with Rift Herald. You do see that teleport from Malzahar into the bot lane. Amumu showing his face towards that blue buff as Urgot finally starts to walk back to lane. Ezreal coming back in time to try to defend this bot lane tower. You're going to see the W land along with that teleport. Good Q as well to get some damage. Rift Herald gonna fall to UNH. Manchester unable to steal at the last moment. So UNH will claim strategic feats as well as just feats in general. You're gonna see the teleport from Ezreal again, trying to do some pretty good damage onto that Misfortune, trying to weigh her down. Not sure if Rel's there with her, but this Ezreal's doing some really good damage. Could definitely see another WE into an ulti here to kill. Oh, but Rel makes her presence known as she comes in from the flank, trying to do some damage to Ezreal. Does a blue ward up in 1 second here. Gonna throw it right on top of the Otacon. Gonna actually expose the control ward sitting in his own jungle. Gonna destroy that quickly. Meanwhile, Senna rotating up towards mid lane. Gonna see her starting to roam a little bit as Yone tries to hold onto his top tower. Rel gonna take out that blue ward before he can get too much value out of it. Another attempt at a play from Ezreal there. Goes barely missed that ultimate. Would have been a really nice play to see. Would have been a nice little callback there to what he did earlier to this Misfortune. You see Rel now coming up to help out in the mid lane. Amumu's there as well with the Malzahar, but Sejuani's just over that wall, ready to come over at a moment's notice. And Yone finds another solo kill onto the Urgot, just starting to bully him now. after that unfortunate death early in the game. Approaching 22 minutes here with UNH up a kill over Manchester now, as well as up one tower. Could definitely see them going up 2 towers to push this mid wave in. As long as they stop this misfortune from taking the bot lane tower, UNH is in a really strong position here. You see Ezreal and the Senna rotating towards mid lane. It looks like maybe just coming up to grab the fruit, get his mana back. Have to be careful not to allow this misfortune to take this turret. Could be a lot of gold for her. Zyra takes her turret. Amumu gets a solo kill on the Yone in his own jungle. Senna gonna spot the ward in their jungle, trying to take that as Ezreal comes by to stop the minions from destroying the tower, doing too much damage to the tower. Do have Otacon up, so if the other team wants to try to take that for the XP boost it could provide, could definitely see a play for that. You see Sejuani now starting to wrap in towards the backside of this jungle. I'm not sure if she's been seen yet, but this UNH bot lane is starting to push their wave in, forcing them to freeze. Could definitely see them trying to play back and bait a little bit here, doing some good damage to Misfortune. Teleport gonna come in from Zyra now. That's definitely gonna force this Manchester University team to back up. Gonna bring out the Misfortune's barrier though, so a good waste of summer spells. Looks like they want to push this wave in to claim bot turret as well. So Sejuani gonna make her appearance now. Zyra helping out the Sen and Ezreal take this last wave before they just take the turret. You see all 4 members of UNH now just stomping towards this turret. The Misfortune nowhere to be found. Gonna see the Misfortune just kind of burn her ult though, doing some pretty good damage to the entire group there. Another ultimate from Ezreal. They're doing some pretty good damage to Rel as the Amumu flies in. Good flash and ulti from the center there to keep everyone shielded as well as doing some pretty good damage. Zyra ult doesn't manage to find anybody. Ezreal's trying to get some poking but unable to land it. Sejuani's just sitting in that bush ready to recall but also ready to pop out at a moment's notice and do some pretty good damage. You see Malzahar in that mid lane trying to get to work with that mid turret, unable to take it just in time. Zyra's starting to make the rotate up. Looks like Ezreal wants to help out a little bit. Urgot also unable to take that top tower in time, as you just see spot this Amumu walking up from the brush now as the Malzahar all mixing in with the Amumu. Bad combination for the Zyra, ends up in her getting shut down by the Malzahar.
Exploration runs in my family.
Mumu Malzahar trying to get to work on this mid lane turret. You just see the Ezreal trying to push them back as Sejuani and Yone hop in that brush in the mid lane, trying to jump out on this Malzahar and stop him before he can get too far away. You see Yone does manage to grab his knock up, combining with Sejuani ult to get the Ezreal a kill onto the Malzahar. The Rel ult mixing with the Amumu ult now to try to shut this Ezreal down. Unfortunately, he doesn't have ultimate, just burned it, trying to secure that kill earlier. But the Urgot now making his appearance. Yone finds the kill. Rel getting shut down by the Ezreal. Urgot trying to get his hands on the Senna, but she barely escapes. Sejuani getting a killing spree onto the Misfortune. 4 members of Manchester falling to this UNH team. Only Urgot left, and it looks like Yone is hungry for him as you see the flash in from Ezreal, landing the Q and trying to proc it, or landing his W, sorry, and trying to proc it with Q. Does manage to do so. Due to Zyra and Sejuani getting started on that Ocean Drake, trying to see if UNH can't go up 4 strategic objectives over this Manchester team. So for Manchester University, only securing an Infernal Drake. This will be the 3rd Drake, I believe, that UNH will have access to. 1 away from Soul, -1. Sejuani gonna claim the Ocean Drake, not giving Manchester University the chance to even try to come and steal it. Ezreal trying to get to work a little bit on this tier 2 mid lane turret, doing a little bit of damage to it with his W, but not able to really finish it off or do too much as Malzahar and Rel both show up. Baron going to have spawned by now, sitting over in the Baron pit ready to go. Sejuani meanwhile going to get a turret somewhere. Actually no, I don't know how. Did Rift Herald? I don't know, maybe Rift Herald somewhere. Anyway, so 2-2 turret mid falls for Manchester University. UNH in the meantime claims Otacon, making sure that Manchester can't try to come back with that XP boost provided by Otacon. I don't know why Ezreal just ran out of shop with 1500 gold in his pocket, but you know, I'm just here to commentate.
Not have a college degree.
Just trying to get a blue ward on Baron, maybe a little bit paranoid that Manchester try to just sneak it out from underneath them. You spot the Rel and the Amumu running up towards that Yone. Could see him trying to definitely back out a little bit here. This is a pretty dangerous fight. You see him running back towards Sejuani. Ezreal gonna run up with the Zyra towards Baron. Senna gonna make her appearance as well, leaving only Actually, looks like the UNH team wants to back away from Baron instead. The Zyra are going to run back to mid lane. Ezreal just kind of hovering around for a moment as you see the Yone dashes over the wall in the back. Getting out of the Baron pit and keeping himself away from falling into a 1v5 there. All ultimates for UNH are up. I assume Manchester University has their ultimates as well. Maybe not the Malzahar ultimate, but I'm not quite sure what his cooldown is. Could seem pretty good poke from Ezreal, just barely going to miss that Q, still doing some pretty good damage. You see Sejuani now making her way over towards Baron as the Zyra just gets locked down by the combo of the Rell and the Urgot. The Yone all gonna fall just a tad bit short. Sejuani ultimate as well going to miss out there, but the slow is pretty good. The damage as well going to be good afterwards, allowing Ezreal to get some really good poke damage. Miss Fortune all going to come out doing some good damage in the center, forcing her to burn out Flash. Yone barely escaping with his life, trying to get back into a situation where he can run in towards his teammates here. The Sen and Ezreal doing some really good damage. Gonna actually get a kill on that Miss Fortune. Rell gonna be following not too long after, if I had to guess. Ezreal just trying to get in range for his last auto. Gonna land the Q instead. Now just Urgot who's gonna fall to the Yone. Sen and Ezreal doing a really good job there to assist in their front liner. A lot of really good poke and peel from both the Yone and the Ezreal. Now looks like they want to push this tier 3 turret before 30 minutes. Try to gather that inhibitor and put a lot more pressure on this mid lane for Manchester University, who are down currently 4 turrets to this UNH team. As you see them quickly getting worked to tier 3 turrets. Zyra's up, we're going to come in towards the rear end. Baron is up and ready to go, especially if they have, with all this lane priority they have, you could definitely see them try to make a play for Baron. Sorry, they're only up 3 turrets, as at some point Manchester University claimed that tier 1 bot turret, as far as tier 2 bot turret as well. Somebody was side pushing for that Manchester team. You see Ezreal started working on this top lane, trying to get pushed into the tier 2 top tower. Trying to expand their gold lead as much as they can here. You see Yone getting mixed up with it with the Amumu and the Rell, burning out that Amumu ult, which is a really good play from the Yone. Ezreal all gonna land, doing some really good damage there as well, allowing him to beef up his numbers and make the enemy think twice about where they really want to attack. Malzahar, meanwhile, just gonna come running in, going to pop his ultimate onto the Ezreal, but the Zyra ult gonna come in clutch. Yone over the wall, gonna find the kill on the Miss Fortune, despite the Malzahar plague to walk away pretty much unharmed. You see his immortal crossbow or shield bow does pop there, so it'll be on a pretty long cooldown afterwards, but gonna see pretty much all of UNH recall back to base, except for Ezreal. Gonna stick around a bit longer to try to get some gold, maybe. Also pointing out that, yeah, Ocean Drake will be spawning in a minute. You will see that that'll be their soul as well for UNH, so you could see a really big play out of them here. Definitely want to claim this to try to give himself that extra edge to try to finish this match off quick and early. Ezreal's almost 3,000 gold in his pocket, just confidently walking around.
And my boots are not waterproof. Fantastic.
See a lot of this UNH team hovering out towards Dragon here. It looks like Sejuani's interested in maybe stunning some Raptors as Yone keeps distracted in the top lane. Do a vision on Baron as well in case Manchester thinks they can just come in and steal it. You see that Mumu popping his ultimate. Miss Fortune ultimate as well. We're going to find the kill on the Zyra as Rell starts getting involved. Now seeing her dismounting but unable to find the stun on the Sejuani. Ezreal trying to proc maybe the spell shield, the Malzahar do some damage. So you see the Mumu popping in to drop a ward into the Dragon Pit. Actually going to come over the wall as he lands his hook onto the Sejuani. She's going to start doing some pretty good damage. Rell's still going to come through, but Yone ultimate going to find 3. Going to actually shut down the Mumu quickly. Sejuani ultimate comes in to shut down the Rell, keeping her still. She pops ultimate. Ezreal going to quickly start combining abilities. Yone finds a double kill on the Miss Fortune. Ezreal going to find a kill on the Rell. Give a triple to Yone. She finds a kill on the Malzahar. This looks really good for UNH. Up 4 players, including 3 players, including the jungler. Still that's Sejuani live, despite how injured she is. They're simply trying to take Soul here. Could see a Baron push too as well if they wanted it. Recommend that Ezreal stops by the shop first to spend some of his gold. Meanwhile, Yone interested in pushing that Urgot way back towards his Nexus towers. Unsure if he broke the inhibitor. I'm not unsure. I can look right at it. But that inhibitor for the mid lane does fall. It's going to force Urgot to kind of stay in base for a little bit and keep these larger minions from pushing into the Nexus here as UNH quickly gets started on this Baron take. did have that ward that spotted them out, but they're just going to break and keep going. They know that Amumu is not going to be fast enough to try to steal this with Smite, and Urgot doesn't have anything that can really do that anyway. UNH going to use that empowered recall to their bonus. The Ezreal are going to be warding spawn because misclick. I'm not going to drag him too much for that. It's kind of funny. Meanwhile, it looks like UNH is going to adopt the tried and true ARAM strategy after getting Baron here. See a lot of them going in to try to push this mid wave to Nexus. They just want to get this game done and over with and move on to the next round. You see the Senna, Sejuani, Zyra all starting off in that mid lane and then slowly tapering off towards where they actually want to go. As we're going to try to push in that bot lane, is Yone going to be working on the top lane to get that tier 2 turret. A lot of gold swinging in the way of this UNH team as they're up 9 kills with 32 minutes on the clock. Bit of a rough start early for a lot of them. They did lose that Feats of Warfare, going down 3 kills to 1, but then quickly turning that around as they started to snowball more and more. However, Yone does end up getting shut down, but he did take out one with him, I believe. I might have totally missed it. He didn't kill anybody, but Zyra is actually going to come down to the Ezreal now as she spots 3 or 4 members of this Manchester team just hovering in that mid lane, trying to make sure nobody pushes in towards the inhibitor. Senna going to show up as well, trying to do some damage, take out this tier 2 bot turret. Rel going to come in, try to discourage them, but the damage from Ezreal's W is just too much on the tower. It's a pretty good poke there as well. You see him dash over the wall. Could see them definitely go for a mid push play here just because all of Manchester rotated at the same time. Definitely more of a turtle strategy from this Manchester team. They're trying to keep them out of the Nexus despite all the gold that UNH should be able to rack up while they're stuck in their Nexus base. -1. Gonna burn flash there as the Misfortune lens out of attack of the Ezreal was able to burn away that spell shield for Malzahar. Some really good damage on the Urgot from that Zyra there, especially with the burn damage I assume she has. I know Zyra likes to run Leandre, Shadow Flame, and all that quite a lot. Mumu looking to grab someone over the wall, maybe try to play for his ulti. Really good damage from Zyra onto the Misfortune there. Good root from Senna is going to actually find 3. Could definitely see the Ezreal all come through. It also hits 3, maybe 4. The inhibitor actually does go down. I believe he just respawned. Misfortune ult is going to go off for about 2 seconds and then cut itself short. Ezreal doing some pretty good damage to the Urgot, landing his W onto that rail and go find the connecting blow. Senna looking for another one of those 3-peat roots he just had. As this UNH team just kind of all crowds in towards the Nexus, is very much one of those do-or-die moments. However, the Sejuani ult and the Malzahar will shut him down pretty quick, as well as that Yone popping ult. The Amumu ult does actually find the Ezreal, allowing him to continue to rain down damage. Give one to Yone, give a triple to Zyra, some really good burn damage. That will be the first round in favor of UNH as they destroy the Nexus. Really good showing from them there. They were able to really handle those strategic objectives, as well as they didn't get too hopeless in that early game when they went down those kills. And even with down, I believe it was 3-1 with 7 minutes on the clock, they still came back and turned this around to 25 kills to 12. The gold advantage must have been extreme. Unfortunately, we can't pull up those stats because we don't have control of the camera. The players do. A really good showing from UNH in that first round there against Manchester University. Seems we're back for the next round against Manchester University. Amumu going to be the first ban on the board. Kindred and John are both going as well. Going to see Swain banned for the Sejuani. Going to see them hovering Zyra to go back to the mid lane. Quinn looks like they're going to be their choice for the top lane as Manchester University does ban the Yone once again. They were getting absolutely torched by that Yone last game. Died once solo in the top lane and never looked back after that. A little bit of a Discord leak there. It's alright. UNH's next ban is going to be Trundle. He's going to be out of the game. Manchester University have the chance to pick their first three. Their top laner is looking like it's going to be Garen. It looks like UNH's Quinn pick might have been a good idea. The hover is smart already. Looks like they want to go Sejuani again. We'll lock in Sejuani once again. Manchester University going to go Lee Sin this time, be able to do a bit more damage than the Amumu. Heimerdinger going to be the choice for mid lane. Could definitely see that be a good fight against the Zyra. Do know well that the Zyra had a few solo kills against that Malzahar that last game, so you could definitely see a bit more interesting of a fight in that mid lane. Meanwhile, the bot lane for UNH going to ban Kled once again. You see Manchester banning Fiora. Final ban going to be Urgot this time. UNH didn't really like that Urgot, despite him not really getting active at all due to that last game. Aatrox, the final ban for Manchester University. AD carry gonna go right back to that Ezreal, and they're gonna bring in Nico this time.
Where are we going?
Gonna see the Misfortune returning for Manchester University, this time brought in with a Nautilus, maybe looking for a bit more of a hook action rather than the stuns provided by Rail like in the last match. Now we just have to wait for the time to tick down before we hop right back into it for game 2. UNH leading over Manchester University up 1-0. Could definitely see them try to put this away by going up 2-0. Did have a very good game last game. They played very patiently. They made sure to mount up the pressure, taking that Baron towards the end. Everyone playing in towards the middle in that mid lane, making sure that Manchester didn't really have a chance to ever fight back or try to swing the momentum back into their favor. Otacon was taken while they were dead. They had no chance to kill that objective for all the XP and gold it provides. Never had a chance when getting Soul. UNH stole that away real quick. Same with Baron. Really, all Manchester managed to walk away last round was that Void Grubs. They did take 2 towers in the bot lane, but if I recall correctly, they didn't manage to take mid or bot tier 1 turret. UNH definitely looking to recreate similar success they had that last game.
You'll be fine. That's not a guarantee, by the way.
Match underway for real this time as UNH once again going to get running out towards their lanes.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
This reminds me of discovering the spirit tomb of Ekron.
Now, as we get underway here, I would suggest most of the action will probably come from the top and mid lane. We know this bot lane doesn't really like to play aggressive when that Manchester University brings out those oppressive lineups, especially like that Nautilus. Having the hook and root all in one kit super early in the game is just lethal, especially for a squishy like Nico and Ezreal.
No way to predict the twists and turns ahead. That's why I wing it.
Definitely have to play a bit more careful, especially in this early game. A hook could most certainly mean death for this bot lane team as that Nautilus is landing the hook on the Nico. However, it doesn't look like Misfortune was really in the right position to really land more than one auto attack on her. Pretty good trade there for the bot lane. Both Nautilus and Misfortune going to take a little bit of damage, while all the damage for UNH was focused on the Nico.
I never miss.
Really strong late game Nico, especially with that ultimate. She can just creep in as pretty much anybody. Pop ultimate right in the middle of your team. Force you to either burn, flash, ulti, or just, you know, eat the brunt of it. Good dodge on the hook there for the Ezreal. Going to land the root 2 is the Nico trying to proc his PTA, just barely avoiding allowing that Misfortune to proc PTA on the Ezreal. You see a bit of a trades going on both mid and bot, or mid and top lane rather. It looks like you can see Quinn forcing Garen back on a turret. You saw a lot of that in the first game. Good route from Nico to keep herself alive there. Trying to proc his PTA. Does actually manage to get the proc, but the level difference between him and the Misfortune leading that Ezreal taking quite a lot of damage, forcing him to use pot pretty early. Pot in 1 bisque hour, he does get his level up pretty quick. You said Sejuani crossing the jungle and toward to Raptors. Could see an early mid gank or definitely a top gank here, as the pathing suggests for Sejuani. Pretty good poke damage out of Nico on the Misfortune there. Just have to be careful of those Qs from Misfortune. First blood gonna go to Quinn, chasing the Garen down into his own jungle there. Does scope out the area, doesn't even see the enemy jungler in her range either. Looks like she's gonna get with that kill for pretty much free. Gonna get a wave for it too. Good poke from Ezra, but he does end up getting himself hooked. It already burned barrier. Still has flash up in case it does happen again. Looks like he might just want him back here. Definitely a lot scarier than the Rel. That Rel had to get in kind of close. Ezra always had the TP available, but now, especially in this early game against Nautilus, it's a little hard to lane against him. I definitely understand. Definitely could have seen, this would have been a really good Samira game in my opinion, as a hardcore Samira one trick. Samira, of course, able to get projectiles with their W. As we see Drake coming online about a minute 15, the ping from Quinn alerting the bot lane that the jungler is most likely pathing towards the bot. You did see him do it that last game, landing up that first blood on Ezreal under tower in the previous game. Could definitely see a repeat performance from him here in just a moment. Ezreal does have a ward up if he wants to keep himself safe from his own jungle. Oh, nearly landing the pick there. The Hex Flash, I believe, from Nautilus, just a little short to land the hook. But the root from Nico finds itself flushed. Pretty much even on the health here. Nautilus just a bit more over Nico. The big problem here is mana. Ezreal not having enough for any of his spells. Gonna be up to Nico, honestly, provide most of his damage. Unless Ezreal can land a few stray Qs here and there. Trying to get this level up be really big for them, especially with this the mana problem they're having right now. Should get it off this melee minion, I believe. This is Zyra's TPing back towards her lane there, and they're gonna know that spell. That summoner spell is burned. Good WQ there from the Ezreal, keeping the Misfortune's health just barely below his. Nearly landing another Q. That would have been very nice. Definitely could see him going for a WE here, just to be careful that you have enough mana for it. It'll cost him 120. Oh, we do see Sejuani has made her appearance known. It looks like maybe she's trying to, maybe not. I don't know if this Manchester team spotted the Sejuani flanking around. It doesn't look like they have. The Nautilus not really in a good position. He's just going to rush out and start charging this back. Going to force the Misfortune, who does use barrier and flash. Maybe not the best flash there possible. The Nautilus, meanwhile, won't even get the chance to flash away. As we're going to secure that kill. UNH going up 2-0 over oh my god, I just lost myself 4 times in one sentence. UNH gonna go up 2-0 over Manchester in the kill count. Looks like Sejuani wants to get started on the Drake as well. Ezreal going to be recalling, but Nico will try to help her the best she can with the little mana she has available. Definitely a position where you want to be careful of a potential steal. You do know that jungler is probably pathing towards top lane. His bottom camps should not be back up yet, but it does look like Sejuani wants to pull Drake just in case. And you do see the the glow bulb gonna come out there. The Lee Sin comes flying in. Good route from Nico to keep themselves both alive, or they're just gonna have to back out. I don't think they can try to stay for this. Looks like Lee Sin will walk away with the first Drake. Ezreal does make an appearance here, but his best play would not be to walk up for that, because as it looks like Lee Sin will take that first Drake for UNH. Now that the jungler is rotating down towards the bot, I would not walk back into your jungle. You see that punch coming through. It looks like he might be searching for Sejuani. You might want to be a little careful. That control word in the middle brush does kind of reveal them a little bit. Do you see Lee Sin going back towards his Krugs? Sejuani looks like she's going to rotate towards topside. Could see another kill here from Quinn. You do see her getting that kickoff on the Garen from the mini-map. Sejuani going to be clearing her Raptors. Could definitely see a potential gank topside for not a free kill, but a kill for the Quinn. Good little poke there from Miss Fortune, keeping this Ezreal back a little bit from the minion wave as Neeko makes her appearance. Unfortunately, no, it doesn't look like the Neeko's interested in making any sorts of minion plays. Running right into that Nautilus hook, the Miss Fortune going to quickly land a lot of damage. The exhaust and the flash, or the exhaust from Nautilus, flash for Neeko going to be burned. But meanwhile, Zyra in that mid lane looks like they're going to find a solo kill on that Heimerdinger, letting UNH go up 3-0, giving them that Feats of Warfare. They did not have it last time. We do know they are down one strategic objective first. Ezreal going to get caught out by the hook, but the root doesn't find itself. Looks like the Nautilus might have canceled his auto there. Ezreal doing a little bit back to punish. Sejuani is kind of rotating towards bot side. Could see a potential gank from her here in a few seconds. Nautilus going to be sticking around. Miss Fortune as well. Going to throw a ward out. Lee Sin could definitely be lurking in the area. Something to look out for. Oopsies. Neeko not having a lot of health. Has to be a bit careful here. Really good Q from the Miss Fortune. Gonna do some damage. Unable to land it, but able to flash with the teleport in, do some pretty good damage. Proccing the W's damage. However, down teleport, have to burn barrier and flash to escape the Miss Fortune. All really lucky Nautilus to have ult there. That might have spelled the end. Yeah, definitely wants to be careful with not a lot of HP and some really mobile champions on this Manchester team. Definitely don't want to see Lee Sin come over the wall if you're this low HP as Ezreal. Gonna throw the ulti out to damage the minion wave, trying to aim for Miss Fortune a little bit. Might be enough for to stop them from getting a plate at the very least. It doesn't look like it. Looks like it'll just be shy of doing enough damage to keep them. Oh no, the Miss Fortune will tank the turret shots to claim it. Really lucky the Ezreal doesn't have ult this time. That would have been a really good play for them if she did. Jinx rockets, it would have been pristine. You see Quinn goes down on the top lane. I definitely missed that 100%. I was too focused on what was happening here in the bot lane. Not sure if she got a kill for her troubles, but I don't think so. As we do see this Manchester team starting to get working on this Void Grubs. They did claim these monsters last time. Lee Sin gonna be a level up on the Sejuani. Already have killing one of the Void Grubs. Looks like Sejuani though will be able to force him off as Quinn with her incredible movement speed already back in her lane, gonna make an appearance. Sejuani does find a kill, or does manage to kill one of the grubs before Lee Sin can make his return. He does come back in, but some really good knockups and stuns here. You do see Heimerdinger is forced under his tower. Lee Sin going to be forced to use ultimate to escape the Sejuani, who's really happy to go right back onto these Void Grubs. Garen might be running down, but it doesn't look like he'll be in time. No, he's still stuck in lane with Quinn, and Heimerdinger, as we saw, was stuck behind tower. Zyra being really impressive here, despite being kind of low HP. Oh, wait, yeah, Quinn definitely got a kill back on that Garen, as UNH is still up 3 kills despite that, despite the kill earlier. They're gonna get a play for troubles as Ezreal Neeko duo in the bot lane, nearly landing some really good poke. That might have set up an ulti kill if Ezreal had landed that Q.
Wait, are you?
You see Nautilus coming in towards their jungle here, starting to damage that control ward pretty good. Looks like you'll be able to kill it for his troubles. Neeko maybe playing it a bit riskier. Not sure where Lee Sin is. You do see Miss Fortune will rotate. The blast cone going to be actually what helps the Nautilus escape here from the Ezreal Neeko. Quinn going to be hovering in that top lane river. As we see Sejuani sitting in this mid lane brush. Oh, that root from Zyra would have sealed his fate. But you do see Quinn comes rushing down as well. Ezreal and Neeko also making an appearance in mid lane. Pretty much everyone here is the Sejuani all going to come out. Quinn going to be giving the final blow as the Ezreal also, I believe, yeah, goes flying through there. Doesn't look like connected. Ezreal never get the ultimate. But the rest of UNH wants to quickly rotate down towards Dragon Pit. They do spot both Lee Sin and Nautilus near the river here. Ezreal, meanwhile, helping the Zyra and the Quinn find a kill on the Garen. They rotate back towards this mid lane. Miss Fortune, not a lot of HP here. Could definitely see her fall to a well-placed ulti here from somebody. Quinn does have hers ready, but that's not a huge ult. Neeko ult, meanwhile, could be very dangerous for this Manchester team. Lee Sin also not a full HP. It does look like that Sejuani, meanwhile, just wants to recall despite the Chemtech Drake coming online. Lee Sin and Nautilus going to work to stop this mid wave from pushing in too far. Someone's gotta remind Ezreal to buy components when they can. Sorry, that's very nitpicky. Meanwhile, you see this Manchester University team getting started on the Drake, for them making an appearance. Garen still in top lane. Ezreal not going to have ult in time, and I don't believe Sejuani will get down there in time, but I do not think strategic objectives goes to... No, it does not. UNH going to be credited for the Void Grub, so they do manage to hold on to the strategic objectives feat for now. Might be able to claim that in a few minutes to take back the tier 3 boots. It might come down to who can get the first turret here to decide who gets those tier 3 boosts. Looking around at the plates, it looks like Quinn might have a slight advantage. Zyra maybe as well. We know Ezreal is about even with the Misfortune, as he works well with the Nico to do some big damage. Sejuani showing up with the gank. No kill confirmed yet, but that Misfortune very low. Does use her ultimate. Gets Ezreal pretty low in the process. Looks like Sejuani won't be able to help confirm that kill in the bot lane. UNH up 5 kills over the one Manchester University. I want to keep calling them Manchester United. Hopefully, keeping up 5 were the 1 kills that Manchester has. You see Nico and Sejuani kind of searching for this Nautilus. He's pretty low HP. That Arcane Comet might have just sealed his fate. Sejuani could just dive him on your turret, I believe. As Zyra finds a solo kill in the middle lane on the Heimerdinger. The Lee Sin is here, but that Nautilus is too low to really be considered for a fight. Lee Sin going to land the kick onto Nico, but not going to follow through with it as Sejuani stays close. Zyra gonna go for tier 2 boots first instead of full item there like Heimer did. It looks like the gamble pays off well for her. So far, only 1 member of UNH dying. Meanwhile, Manchester has 7 deaths on the board. Very dominant showing from UNH. Last time it took them a little bit to get warmed up, but they really got into it now. W gonna land after the teleport. Unfortunately, not gonna be able to proc it. It looks like no. The Q coming just a moment too late. Nico unable to land the root. That would have definitely led to a kill had it landed. Could have been a really big starter for this Ezreal. However, the 1 kill, 1 assist made sure he did get the magical footwear very early in this game. You see Zyra maybe making a rotate down to grab that blue buff before maybe going back for that bite for that apple and Heimerdinger. And Nautilus, meanwhile, coming in from the river. Ezreal does not want to get caught out by that hook. I'm immediately going to use TP to get away. Or use his teleport, rather. Looks like Quinn's being a bit abrasive in that top lane. Lee Sin might make her come pay for it, as you see her maybe trying to dart through the river to get away. It looks like Lee Sin might have flashed. Might have burned flash for the kill there. Will end up getting the shut down onto the Quinn. Sejuani getting in just a little bit too late, but maybe able to get revenge onto the Lee Sin here. You see her chasing him pretty intensely. Ultimate not being used. Looks like Sejuani might not be able to get revenge kill for Quinn here. Garen's still in the area. It looks like Sejuani's just kind of dancing back and forth. Maybe there's not been any exchanges, but it looked like it's pretty close. Just like Sejuani will just, in the meantime, push in this top wave to help out his top laner. Might be able to take this opportunity to get rid of that control ward as well, but it looks like Sejuani's just going to go back to grab Krugs.
I'm always open to new ideas. My new ideas.
Ooh, hook from Nautilus, barely grazing best at Ezreal as Quinn actually makes an appearance in the bot lane. The ultimate going to come out and proc the W for some really big damage. Quinn passive going to be used as well. Q going to combine with Talon, I believe. No. Can't remember. Valor. The Ezreal Q going to combine with Valor to secure the kill on Nautilus. It was a really well-timed voice line. Lee Sin, meanwhile, spotted in the river towards this Rift Herald as it just comes online. It's going to go running back into the Baron pit as Zyra starts coming up towards the mid lane. Misfortune making her way here as well. Heimerdinger as well. First turret actually is going to go down to Nico. That's going to be really big for UNH. It's going to give them feats for the tier 3 footwear. Lee Sin going to fall to Quinn. Zyra going to fall to Misfortune. Heimer doing some really big damage on Sejuani as Misfortune nearly gets the kill onto Quinn, but she barely squeaks by with the help of Sejuani ultimate. Sejuani going to run away from the 1v3 as Nico starts to make an appearance as well. She has ultimate up. This could be a really big play for UNH if this Nico can just squeak right inside and pop that ultimate. Sejuani going to be able to stop this mid wave from crashing into the turret as Ezreal runs up towards the top lane, eager to help Quinn out. Looks like Nico might be getting chased down here a little bit as Sejuani focuses on her farm. Yeah, a lot of this Manchester team surrounding the Drake pit now is they feel like Rift Herald might be a lost cause for them. Only Garen looks like to be the last one remaining in top lane. Nautilus gonna hook away from the Quinn. Look like UH maybe he's hungry for this tier 1 turret as well. It is quite low. Quinn just gonna go straight by, maybe looking to hunt the Heimerdinger down a little bit. Actually gonna land her kick as well as her passive. There's some really good burst damage. Zyra gonna land a blow onto the Misfortune as well as a Nautilus. A lot of burn there coming out. Tier 1 mid turret very low. Could definitely see a group push under tower here and they break it while fighting. Sejuani maybe just waiting for her ultimate to come online. You just see Neeko, the lone minion. The lone melee minion comes rushing in as Ezreal flies over the mid, unable to, it might have found some people, but not anybody for the kill. Sejuani's still waiting behind in this jungle, eager to attack. Ezreal's just going to get to work on this top lane tower. Looks like he might just have a totally free solo tower, but looks like Garen might have something to say about the Neeko ultimate going out as Sejuani comes dashing over the wall, it looks like. Zyra finds a kill on the Misfortune. Ezreal gets the ult for free. Lee Sin finds a kill on the Neeko. Sojourn gonna eat that Garen ult to the face. Quinn getting kicked away. Gonna find a kill on one. Just gives Zyra the kill on the Nautilus. Sejuani's sprinting away. Gonna get flashed onto by the Garen. Barely able to escape out of the range. Quinn's gonna come in to give herself the double kill. Only remaining Heimerdinger. And he pops his ultimate. Summon the big old turret. Quinn dashing around madly. Gonna kick him in the head. Looks like she's trying to secure that final kill for the ace. Her and Zyra fighting. It doesn't look like they'll be able to secure that kill. Ezreal, meanwhile, just going to keep side pushing here, pushing up towards that tier 2 top turret, and already getting some really good damage on it, courtesy of those Void Grubs.
Executed.
It looks like Quinn just going to go down for the turret, maybe as a last-ditch effort to take down Heimer. Zyra gets credit for taking out that tier 1 mid turret. Really good damage there by Ezreal onto that Misfortune, forcing her to back away from the wave immediately, giving her less XP, as well as herself a chance to continue the side lane push. Gonna let the cannon crash and then back. It looks like a lot of gold in his pocket ready to be spent. Two members of UNH still lingering around this mid lane fighting against a Manchester team. Sejuani looks like fighting the Drake. Yeah, but the glow bulb does come out at the last second, kind of snitch on her. Be very careful. Lee Sin could ward dash over that wall and it could be very dangerous. Smite's gonna go off with no problem. Easy take for UNH, up 13 kills over Manchester's 4. Rift Herald's still 9. It is going to be a bounty objective for Manchester, as well as all the tier 1 turrets for, it's going to be a bonus bounty for Manchester, as well as all the tier 1 turrets for UNH. Does look like Ezreal's up just a little bit of gold in this engagement. You know, last game he did kind of struggle a bit in the early game. We saw him quickly snowball into that second half of the game there, especially against that low HP Misfortune. Some really good burst damage already onto that Heimerdinger, courtesy of PTA. Nearly getting all 3 blows to land. Quinn able to immediately clean up after him. A quick little kill for Quinn. Ezreal and Zyra are gonna get help, or gonna get the credit as well for the assist. Looks like they might be heading towards Rift Herald here. Nautilus and Misfortune showing up around the mid lane. It looks like they might have just come back from bot lane area, maybe trying to get some of these bounty objectives off the board. Sejuani gonna make the blast cone booster over the wall. It looks like Ezreal might be hiding in that brush near the crevice to maybe get a jump on this Misfortune. Otacon gonna come in the top lane now. You could definitely see the teams fight for that objective. It's really big for comeback situations. And Manchester's definitely in a comeback situation right now. It doesn't even look like they'll really be able to interrupt the taking of the Rift Herald. No, they won't be able to. UNH walks away with it cleanly. Looks like the Sejuani's going to pick it up. It looks like she wants to go right away down mid lane with it. You see Quinn popping her ultimate. It could definitely see her coming in from behind to kick that Nautilus, the Misfortune maybe. Looks like they want to clear this minion wave before they summon the Rift Herald. I'm not sure if they actually plan to summon it right away or not, but they're definitely gearing up and making it look like that. All members of UNH now currently in the mid lane because the game ARAM, both sides just running back and forth at each other, waiting for one of them messed up. Really big damage on the Garen from the Ezreal. The ultimate here gonna come out, maybe find 2, does find the Misfortune, does do some really big damage on the Heimerdinger. Neeko ultimate could be absolutely huge here for this team, but it's not needed. Sejuani finds 1, Quinn doing some really big damage. Ezreal coming in to clean up the mess as he finds 1, gives Quinn a double under the Heimer. Sejuani under tower against Nautilus, but the Q from Ezreal is going to find home, taking himself home a double kill. They're going to take this tier 2 turret, no problem. Zyra, Neeko, and Ezreal left remaining. Some really big damage dealers, especially to these turrets with that Ezreal Q, as well as Neeko able to take a lot of tower shots when disguised as a minion if they need to get pushed in and they want to push a Nexus turret as well. However, the respawn timer is not on their side here. Misfortune already respawning for this Manchester team. The ultimate going to come out, but it looks like no, UNH not going to stick around to even try for inhib. It would be a better time for them to just walk away, just to recall and get your bearings back. But it looks like they want to stick around for it. NiKo maybe wants to stick around longer, going for an ultimate. Gonna catch 4. Nice ultimate from her, but unfortunately she doesn't have the backup to secure any of the kills as Ezreal had recalled and Zyra had backed too far away. Now Rift Herald's going to make an appearance all the way back at UNH's tier 2 mid turret, and Sejuani going to be drifting this thing like NASCAR straight down the center. The F1 car is about to take flight. I'm actually not sure the charge will last long enough, and no, it won't. Sejuani just going to use it to get to the combat sooner. As you see, Zyra does make that recall. Zyra makes that recall back to base and teams up with NiKo here, and the Herald charge will be on cooldown because they did not take down a turret or other object with it. So unfortunately, that Rift Herald does not get much value other than a glorified speed boost. It does look like they do spot that Drake coming online in 1 minute. Neither team up for Soul yet, but Sejuani definitely wants to take it for her team here, so they can go back to being 2-2, and Drake's keeping that even. They want to they want to have an advantage as many ways as possible here, and if you look at it, they definitely have that advantage. They're up kills, they're up in turrets, about to be up another kill as Ezreal flies through, finding the Nautilus. Sejuani gonna find Heimer on your turret. Garen trying to come in to help get some payback, but it will just get taken out by the Ezreal. Give him another one, making that a triple on the Misfortune. Trying to get some extra damage on these turrets with the Zyra plants taking a little bit of damage, but it doesn't even look like the respawn timers will be on their side, as the supercharged minions are already making their way in that first tower, taking a lot of damage. Looks like they will at least get one Nexus turret for all this trouble, but more is likely on the way. NiKo trying to work together with this Ezreal, disguised up as a Quinn, but not doing the basic auto attack for some reason. But meanwhile, Sejuani is just going to be working on the Nexus. It doesn't look like anybody's really conscious to stop that, except the Ezreal gets bodied by the Lee Sin, getting sent to the Shadow Realm. It doesn't look like they want to risk just trying to all strike the Nexus. They definitely should have had everybody just hit the Nexus from the beginning there instead of fighting that Lee Sin, but I understand the sentiment. I can't even talk. I don't. Anyway, the Drake will come up, though, as they do fall to the ace. Quinn coming back up in just a second, though, so it's not really an ace. I don't count it as an ace. Sejuani will be able to pick up the Thornmail here, so she's definitely a lot stronger against this Lee Sin and won't get nearly as exploded, hopefully. Going to be able to pick up those tier 3 boots as well if they want. But you do see Quinn's going to be booking it towards this Drake. They definitely don't want to give the Drake up easily because it is a bounty objective for this Manchester team. They get a lot more gold than they usually would. But as you see, it looks like they're a bit more worried about damage control here. 3 of them grouping up in that mid lane, trying to deal with the large minions as both Nexus turrets are out. They did do some really good damage to the Nexus. If Quinn wants to be fast enough after this kill, you could definitely see him zipping around turrets to try to get to the Nexus. Looks like they're doing some really good damage to this Lee Sin. Heimerdinger making his appearance now, but Lee Sin actually holding on quite well. That Sundered Sky doing a lot of heavy carrying there. It looks like they weren't expecting more of a bruiser build on Lee Sin. However, Quinn does fall to him in that solo kill. UNH leading 10 kills now, but they definitely want to make sure they don't take their foot off the gas here. They don't want to give Manchester the chance to stand back up after they've been down this whole game. You see 4 of them lined up in this river bush, but the glow bulb actually doesn't spot any of them. Ezreal's going to flash right out with his TP. Going to line up the W onto the Misfortune. The kickback from Lee Sin's going to find Ezreal and NiKo, but then NiKo's going to knock both of them up, interrupting Misfortune. Lee Sin and Misfortune going to get the kill onto the NiKo. Some really good damage from Ezreal here onto the Lee Sin, forcing him back away as the Nautilus goes down as well. Only Lee Sin is the last member of Manchester as Garen now finally makes his appearance, but Quinn is swooping in from the side. It doesn't look like they notice her. Zyra's gonna find the kill, onto 1. Lee Sin getting chased down by Sejuani. He's gonna kick himself back onto Quinn. Quinn gonna kick off and get some really good burst damage. Electrocute going to be procced on Garen as they notice that they could just go and take the Nexus after they score this ace. They have scored an ace here, and Heimerdinger Nautilus are the only ones that could really stop them, and Quinn just going to be off to the races here. It looks like they just want to send her solo. They don't think they'll be able to get there in time to help her much, but they will be able to take this Drake in case she isn't able to destroy the Nexus. Looks like she's actually going to focus on killing Heimerdinger first and then try to go for Nexus, which is definitely not a bad play, as Heimerdinger can deal damage, and Nautilus can't really until he can combo you with the hook there. It looks like going to be doing some really good damage, unable to actually fully take down the Nexus as the rest of this Manchester team starts to come online. Four members of UNH are still standing, though. You could definitely see them trying to just kind of attack the Nexus from each from a different direction here. All the members could definitely take it down here. There's not a lot of HP left. This is definitely a critical moment for Manchester. They pretty much need an ace to stay in the game. You know, Sejuani is ready to tank a lot of these hits for her team here. You see Ezreal coming from the side, going to get hit by the Lee Sin. He's going to teleport away pretty easily. Lee Sin actually missed the ward dash over the wall, but able to run over regardless. Quinn coming back in 10 seconds. It looks like UNH just wants to back out towards Baron, maybe. Could definitely see him go for a sneaky little take here. The wards will snitch him out a little bit, but maybe they just want to steal some farm instead. Zyra kind of being forced out of the mid lane as a lot of this Manchester team starts to collapse in on her. Nico just going to run down, maybe looking to get that tier 2 bot lane turret as Lee Sin makes his appearance in the mid lane. The flash from Ezreal is not going to be enough to get him away. Going to throw the ultimate out to try to get some damage. The Zyra ultimate just going to not be able to really hold him down either. He's going to flash over the wall, chasing after the Zyra's flash. The root not going to be able to contain him down. Give, I believe that would be a double to Lee Sin, finding both the Ezreal and the Zyra there, as Sejuani and Quinn get worked on the Otacon quickly. They definitely don't want to let this objective fall into the hands of Manchester. It's going to be really big for both teams here. This could give UNH that last little push they need to just really seal this game home. As those Nexus turrets and the inhibitor does come back online, so UNH actually has to make a lot more pushes here and have a lot more team fights able to secure this game. But it does look like UNH will be able to walk away with Otacon pain-free. The Lee Sin not kicking in time, or not following up the punch up in time to actually get to Otacon. An easy smite from Sejuani secures the objective for UNH. UNH taking a moment to just kind of consolidate and start farming back up and try to get into the late game part of the game here as we move closer and closer to 30 minutes. Mistfortune does finally take down a turret for Manchester, taking down that tier 1 bot turret. The tier 1 top turret has fallen already. However, it's been a very long time in between those two events. Not a lot of gold flowing into the pockets of Manchester despite it all. Quinn finds a kill into one as a Zyra ult. Zyra does end up falling after the ultimate. Ezreal just unable to find that last hit onto the Nautilus to secure that kill, doing some good damage on the Lee Sin as Sejuani waits, throwing her ultimate out and securing the Garen. Looks like Sejuani will find a kill on the Nautilus. He was very low. Comes in, gets a kill onto the Heimerdinger, make it 2. Garen also going to be very low here. Looks like Ezreal will get the last hit on him. Only Lee Sin remaining now. This could be the push that UNH needs. It's 3 against 1 here. You see Lee Sin has to run all the way back to his fountain to get the healing, and UNH has to just quickly take this inhibitor, and they could definitely go for the Nexus turrets as well. Nico might have grabbed the wrong disguise there. Looks like a blast code maybe creeping up with the minions. Lee Sin going to try to do some damage. Ezreal here, definitely the squishiest one amongst the 3 there. Well, actually, that'd be Nico, but yeah, close enough. Looks like they actually just want to go for Baron instead, forcing the remaining members of the Manchester team there to play damage control with the minions for a little bit. The wards will snitch on them, and Manchester will know what they're doing, but the question is whether or not they're able to stop them from doing what they're doing. Sejuani gets Baron started. Quinn, Ezreal, Nico quickly joining as well. It looks like they did leave some pretty good wards up, have some pretty good vision of the jungle behind them. Doesn't look like Manchester might be too interested in trying to steal it away from UNH here. Lee Sin not going to be able to run over in time as the smite comes out from Sejuani, easily securing that objective for UNH as well. Up 12 kills, up Baron, up Otacon, and they have equal amounts of Drakes, I believe. Quinn now going to be hunting that Misfortune, hunting the Misfortune down, really good damage. Hunting the Heimerdinger down as well as the kick from Lee Sin does some really good damage. Ultimate from Ezreal going to secure that as root from Nico holds a Lee Sin still, and he does not like to be held still. Ulti from Sejuani going to come out, giving Zyra the kill there, and this is really big for UNH now. They just took down Inhibitor. They have the supercharged minions, and they're just marching down mid lane with 5 men. Well, 4 girlies and 5 girlies at that point. They're just marching down the mid lane with the whole team now. Nautilus and Garen, the only 2 remaining members for this Manchester University team. I don't know if they're going to be enough with Baron buffed soldiers as well as a full team of UNH just bearing down on these 2 Nexus turrets. Sejuani just absolutely ignoring the damage from both the turrets and Garen, able to destroy 1 Nexus turret before finally turning on him, shutting down his ultimate before he can get real started. But the ramping damage of the turret will eventually claim Sejuani, but they will destroy the 2nd Nexus turret. The W from Ezreal doing a lot of damage there, teleporting away from the Misfortune ultimate, and that will spell the end of Game 2. UNH walking away with a clean 2-0 victory over Manchester University. A very good game in both starts. They had a bit of a slow start in that first game. But in this second game, they were electric and alive from the very beginning. They had their foot on the gas and never let off the momentum. And that's a very great way for the UNH to kick us off for this JV League stream. I hope everybody has a good night.